A very good evening. You're watching India Today with me, Nabila Jamal, as we go live on social media platforms. I'm here to give you a roundup of today's news. Let me start with a landmark judgment of sorts that's come in by the Delhi High Court, who was hearing a defamation case filed by former Union Minister MJ Akbar, who filed a defamation case against journalist Priya Ramani for accusing him in the Me Too allegations, accusing him of sexual misconduct about a decade ago. Now, as the Delhi court heard this case, the court acquitted Priya Ramani, saying that there has been no evidence of her accusing MJ Akbar or maliciously tried to accuse him, to defame him or malign his reputation. In fact, the court further observed, which was very interesting and is also a landmark considering that several women came out with allegations accusing their predators of sexual misconduct that happened years ago, and many of them questioned as to if it happened that many years ago, why are you saying it now? Why are you coming out with it now? Now, very importantly, the court has observed in this case that a girl has the right, a woman has the right to come out and put forward her grievances or allegations of sexual misconduct at any point of time in her life that she wants to. Now, it doesn't mean just because MJ Akbar was a man of stature or a man of repute that she cannot come forward with the allegations 10 years later. She has all the rights to do so. The court also said that yes, MJ Akbar is a man of repute, but that does not disqualify Priya Ramani of putting forward her allegations and grievances if she wanted to put it forward. Now, MJ Akbar, remember, had filed a defamation suit against Priya Ramani in 2018 itself after she accused him of sexual misconduct at workplace during her job interview while he was a journalist. He himself was an editor of a news portal. At that time, Priya Ramani, during a job interview, she claims that there was a sexual misconduct by MJ Akbar. It was not just Priya Ramani. There were at least 20 women who accused MJ Akbar of sexual misconduct and sexual harassment and whatnot when the Me Too movement was happening. These allegations came forward by at least 20 odd women. Now, it could be unknown women, some of them known women, some of them did not reveal their names and information. Now, these allegations could be true, some of them could be false. All of that is for the court to decide. But here the court has observed that the defamation suit that MJ Akbar filed on Priya Ramani is wrong, and therefore there's no conviction, there's no evidence to convict Priya Ramani, therefore she is acquitted. And like I said, the point to remember is that the court allowed, or rather spelt it out in as many words, that women have the right to say what has happened to them at any given point of their life. Now, over to the Disha Ravi case, in the Greta Thunberg toolkit probe case. Disha Ravi is still in prison. She is still being probed by the Delhi police. While she's been in jail at least for the last 3 days, her co-accused, there are two others who are accused in the toolkit case, including Nikita Jacob as well as Shantanu Muluk. Both of them have now got bail by the Bombay High Court. In fact, it's interim bail. The Bombay High Court has granted interim bail to Nikita for 3 weeks and for Shantanu 10 days. Now, both of them have been accused in this toolkit case. In fact, the Delhi police claim that Nikita is the bigger conspirator in compared to Disha Ravi. That's the information that we get from sources, that Nikita apparently involved Disha Ravi into this group where they were coming out and designing a toolkit that which Greta Thunberg put up, and the Delhi police claim that Nikita was in cahoots with some of the pro-Khalistani groups, including Poetic Justice Foundation and a few other groups that were pro-Khalistani, and she, along with them, designed this entire toolkit to allegedly defame India. Now, this is an international propaganda, is what the Delhi police claim. Now, investigation is still currently underway, and particularly over this Zoom call. There was a Zoom call on the 11th of January where all of them were there, including Nikita, Disha, Shantanu, Mo Dhaliwal. Mo Dhaliwal is a self-proclaimed Khalistani separatist or a Khalistani activist. He also has, and remember, all of these, according to the police, most of these pro-Khalistani groups are all living abroad. They're not in India. So they have a family who are still in Punjab, and largely the people in Punjab, the farmers of Punjab, are affected largely owing to these new farm laws, and they've been largely protesting. So their families now agitated who are living abroad are now actively contributing in highlighting this campaign and trying to put pressure on the government to revoke these laws. Now many of them are viewed as pro-Khalistani groups. Remember, Poetic Justice Foundation, which is one of the Khalistani groups that they say, pro-Khalistani groups that the government has objection to, has not been banned. So Nikita or Disha having communications with someone like Mo Dhaliwal, who's part of the Poetic Justice Foundation, have they committed a crime? Is it illegal to communicate with someone like Mo Dhaliwal when the organization that he's part of is not banned by India? When he is not banned by India. So these are the questions coming forward by several critics and activists who are crying foul over Disha Ravi's arrest, saying that all that she did was edit a toolkit which had nothing insightful. It only merely had information as to how to highlight this farmers' protest and how to ensure that it gets attention from all over the globe, only so that these farmers get justice. Time and again, Disha, Nikita and Shantanu have said, Shantanu we've not heard from, Nikita through her lawyer and Disha has said that they have not had any intentions to incite any violence. They did not mean to, in fact, they have not mentioned anything to do with violence. They have not mentioned anything to do with Jan 26th chaos that took place in Delhi. And they did not mean to instigate anything or fan any violence on Republic Day. Now, this is what they have claimed. Of course, the Delhi police are probing if there is a larger role in this entire nexus, or who has a larger role to play. Now, while they're probing this, they've also got some chats that has been shared between Nikita and Peter Frederick. Now, who's Peter Frederick? This is another person who's now come to limelight while the police investigates this matter further. There's this man called Peter Frederick, who's a self-styled author and activist who the government says allegedly has links to Pakistan's ISI. Now, there are some message exchanges between Nikita and Peter Frederick, and they are discussing, in the messages they are discussing as to what VPN to use. As Peter asks what VPN to use, Nikita responds saying the best for Shantanu to use is Proton VPB, as Cyber Ghost is compromised. So now the Delhi police asks if at all these, the bunch of these activists who were drawing out the toolkit were so innocent, then why were they trying to evade and get into a more secure hotel and go into changing different VPNs and different social media platforms? They were trying to, of course, they were guilty over something, which is why they were trying to switch to different VPNs. And the conversation held was allegedly, of course, suspicious and dubious, which is why they were afraid of police action. That's what the police claim. Again, investigations are still underway, and this man, Peter Frederick, who now is also in the dock, he apparently has some close ties to Khalistani separatist Iqbal Chaudhry. This is what the Delhi police has alleged. Peter Frederick has had communications. Now, remember, if you can understand this nexus, Greta Thunberg is a climate activist, Disha Ravi is a climate activist in India. They have been communicating through social media platforms only to raise awareness on several environmental activities and, trying to preserve the environment collectively, a global campaign that Greta Thunberg is carrying out through this campaign called Fridays for Future. So, because of this kind of network that Disha Ravi has had, Nikita, who's currently supporting the farmers' protest, roped in Disha because she knew Greta Thunberg, so that they can all come together and give this some highlight, the farmers' protest, some global attention. Now, whether this was to create violence or attract international propaganda to defame India, whatever their intentions was, is a different issue right now, which the police is probing into. But these accused, who are right now under a probe, claim that they had only plain intentions to ensure that farmers get justice. There were no intentions to defame India. Now, of course, the police now are looking at some serious links, including Peter Frederick. They claim has ISI links. In fact, Peter and Iqbal, who's a terrorist, they call him a terrorist, and also has Pakistani's links, ISI links. Apparently, their relationship goes back to 2006. And we believe that Peter Frederick has always been very vocal and he himself calls himself a self-styled author and activist who speaks against authoritarian governments and policies and state-sponsored atrocities. So now Peter Frederick's role in this entire gamut of things is also in probe. Now, that's that. Mostly here we are looking at a 26-day Red Fort violence that took place. We are looking at Mandir Singh alias Moni, who was absconding. He's been arrested now in that in that case, and some 2 swords have also been recovered from him that he was hiding. And apart from that, Lakha Sidana is still absconding. So the Delhi police has taken this Republic Day violence, the Red Fort siege, very, very seriously, and they're going into all angles of it, like I did mention. Now, a quick word here on Nepal and India. Some relationship is strained after a BJP leader very promptly said that the BJP plans to expand its political party and its political wings into Nepal and Sri Lanka. This obviously hasn't gone down too well with Nepal. Nepal has now reacted. In fact, this is the Chief Minister of Tripura who said this, the BJP Chief Minister of Tripura, Biplab Kumar Deb. His remarks that Amit Shah, the Home Minister, has almost alluded that he is planning to spread or rather expand the BJP into Nepal and Sri Lanka. Now, he's very mindlessly said it, mindfully said it, whatever it is. This has attracted some international objection. Nepal has now conveyed its formal objection to India and says that this is not done. He cannot speak like that. Nepal's Foreign Minister Pradeep Gyawali tweeted on Tuesday that the issue was noted and a formal objection has already been conveyed, and now this has led to a controversy with Nepal reacting very strongly. Now, a quick word on the Ladakh pullback. Chinese troops have pulled back, and the proof of this is there in the satellite images that India Today has been showing on our television throughout. In fact, let me tell you, these high-resolution image shows very clearly that on Jan 30th, and February 16th, it shows Chinese troops pulling back from Pangong. And these are very clear images. In fact, these images confirm that previous PLA deployment and infrastructure has been established along Finger 5 and Finger 6. What was there previously has now completely been pulled back. It's completely clear, and those satellite images show that from what was before January 30th to now. Now, these exclusive images confirm a climb down by the Chinese troops after 10 months of standoff at line of actual control. Why this comes as an important piece of information here is because the opposition has been constantly accusing the government of lying, of ceding land to China, of Indian territory to China and whatnot, and that Chinese troops may not have pulled back. There must have been some give and take, but here are the satellites images that shows very clearly that Chinese troops have pulled back without India ceding any part of its land. Now, we are looking at some serious political turmoil in Puducherry, the union territory there, as Kiran Bedi, the governor of Puducherry, has been ousted. The centre has removed her from the lieutenant governor's position. Now, this comes at a time when the Congress has almost lost majority in Puducherry. Almost 4 MLAs of the Congress have resigned, and apparently, so sources, rumours telling us that they might switch to the BJP soon, and right at this time comes Kiran Bedi being removed from her governor's post. The centre says that, there is some viewing this as the BJP's way to bring out a stronger governor or implement a stronger person in that position so that they can fight the upcoming assembly polls in Puducherry much stronger and knock down the Congress, which already seems to have lost majority. It's now got 14 MLAs. Now, even BJP for that matter has about 14 MLAs. Now, they can probably 1 or 2 comes this side. They'll more likely possibly be able to win over Puducherry this time. So, a quick word on Ram Mandir. Politics over Ram Mandir now refusing to die down as the donation drive for the temple has triggered quite some political showdown. Former Karnataka Chief Minister H.D. Kumaraswamy has now said that he was threatened to donate money to those who are coming for to ask money for Ram Mandir. In fact, this is the information that we get, that he claimed that houses of people who are not donating for Ram Mandir have been marked and they are being threatened for not giving that money. Now, apart from that, even Siddaramaiah from the Congress, this is JDS leader Kumaraswamy said that he was threatened. Siddaramaiah from the Congress says that he is not willing to pay money to anybody who comes asking for money to construct Ram Mandir in Ayodhya, because that is a disputed site. He says that anywhere else, if you want to construct a Ram Mandir, I'm willing to pay money, but not in Ayodhya, because it still stands disputed, whatever be the judgment. That's what, of course, the Vishwa Hindu Parishad has objected to this, saying that this is absolutely false. The Congress should, consider and trying to look at exactly what they're saying and not make false allegations. Now, a quick word on Bengaluru cluster of COVID-19 cases. Very interestingly, there was a party that happened in one apartment complex where about 50 odd people gathered for a party, and in a few days' time, 103 people in that one apartment building have been tested of COVID-19. And this is shocking to say the least, because we are looking at clusters where COVID-19 is spreading in full speed, and this is Bengaluru is one such example. Here we're looking at the Bengaluru municipal body officials also saying that around 45 residents gathered for this party, and eventually 100 of them got COVID. Now there's another spot in another case. 40 out of 210 students studying at the Manjushri College of Nursing in Bengaluru have also got COVID-19, and most of these students coming are from Kerala. So Karnataka has now given an instruction that anybody coming from Kerala into Bengaluru will have to carry an RT-PCR negative report, not longer than 72 hours. All right, that's that. Maharashtra also is seeing a rise in COVID-19 cases, and we're looking at the Maharashtra government already warning its people, putting its onus on the people to ensure that they will have to be careful, because otherwise there'll be another COVID-19 induced lockdown which they wouldn't want. That's it from me. Thank you very much for watching. Have a great day.